There we go. Going live.
Going
It's
live and talking about chickens
it's
and
live.
cats.
Chickens and cats. Chickens, cats, plats. Cats, plat. Cats, plants. Get the tongue tied out of the way before we get
Yeah,
started.
grandma says, "Good luck training the cats to stay out of your garden beds."
No, that's not going to happen. I know that.
Well, something though that I thought about is, what if we got cat grass and catnip and like planted it around the outside
Your
of your
grandma has a
beds?
big pile of catnip in the front yard. Huge plant.
Yes, and grandma planted more.
Yes. And the cats don't even know it's there yet.
Oh, they know it's there.
Oh, oh,
They've been cuddling up to it and sniffing it and eating it.
oh, okay. Well, let's hope they don't destroy it before I get the harvest from it.
I don't think they'll destroy it. They're not chewing on it the same way that they chew on the grass in the backyard. Like
Well,
they're kind of just nibbling it. It's more the scent of catnip that gets cat stoned than is eating it.
mm,
So,
yeah, whatever it is. It'll
but
be
yeah, if we were to like plant cat grass and catnip around the outside of the beds, maybe that would encourage the cats to not go into the beds.
no. I would just
No?
encourage them near the beds, I think.
Oh. Oh, it was a thought.
No, I know it's near impossible to keep them out of the bed. The biggest thing is just they don't do too much damage to it before the plants get established.
Well, they have been sticking more to the paths, probably because they realize they can run a lot faster if they stick to the paths.
Mm-hmm.
It's awesome. They're getting the zoomies outside now.
Mm-hmm.
I was watching as one of them, the tree in the front yard, one of them was running all the way across the yard, going right up the tree, then coming right back down the tree and going back across the yard, and they just kept doing that over and over. It was great.
Good. Good for the cats. Good for the cats. You need to do such things.
Nice trying to have them trying to climb up the walls inside.
Mm-hmm. All right. Let's see what we got. Everything seems to be working. Sounds seem to be good. Hopefully we get good reports on the sound and everything is working the way it is supposed to work. There they are.
Just letting your alter ego know that we're on here live now.
Wait, alter ego couldn't figure it out?
Well, we've been a little late with our pre-stream lately because we've had previous issues
Hmm.
for the last little while. So we've been working on fixing the worst bugs before we go live.
Well,
And today the AI is being nicer to us.
yeah, well, the computer here is slightly better behaved than the computer at the Oasis.
True. Oh, sounding good. Excellent.
Let's see what we got. Got to add a security plugin to a site. Thinking I'm going to experiment with a new security plugin.
That should be interesting.
Getting tired of WordFence.
WordFence has gotten a little weird. They have more options, and the options don't always make sense, I'm finding.
Yeah, well, I want to see what I can do with it. I realize the site I've been building, I've been playing with I've been using the WP activity log, which is really nice. And it's also got an add-on to the activity log. It's for monitoring your files. And it had a whole bunch. I'm looking at it and said, "Oh, what's all that?" And then I go
Cool.
look, and it's like, "Oh, looks like people have been trying to hack their way into the site. Lots of attacks on the user accounts." I was like, "Oh, I hadn't installed WordFence. Well, let's see if I can install something a little different this time and see what I can come up with." There's so many security plugins to choose from, so I thought I would experiment with something new. Something lighter. The biggest thing is it's got to be, I want something lighter and more and efficient as WordFence, but I want it lighter because WordFence has gotten pretty heavy.
Mm-hmm.
So give it some experimentation. And our numbers are climbing for the show, which is kind of nice.
That's awesome.
Didn't you get the report? I forwarded it to you.
I did, but that report tells me that we're being listened to a lot on our older shows and less on our newer shows. I'm not sure if that actually means that our numbers are growing or if our numbers are shrinking.
Numbers are growing. It's the newer. It had the latest shows on there. and it showed the initial numbers. The initial numbers are the people that listen within the first 24 to 36 hours.
Okay.
The rest of the numbers are the people that listen a week later, 2 weeks later. Like sometimes I get behind in my podcasts that I listen to,
That's true.
and then I'll start listening to them. You know, so it's like that's all it is. It's the numbers when they show the ladder shows what their total numbers are. They show you what the numbers are for extended since the show was published. When you look at the numbers on the newer shows, the numbers are going up. So,
Okay.
at least that's what I figured out by looking at the latest stats that came in, which is nice. People are starting to listen again.
Well, that is exciting, though.
All right.
I'd like to think my new layout had something to do with it.
Sure, why not? Could be anything. Could be people finding more time. Could be people looking for more information again, or it could be the new format for the show. You know, versus just 6. What do we have? We had 6 plugins per show.
We had 3 each, so that was
6.
6 in total.
But they weren't covered very well.
No, they were just basic.
So we're covering them a bit better. Hopefully, if there's anyone out there that wanders into the pre-stream and catches this information, kick us some feedback. We'd appreciate it.
That would be awesome.
Let's see where we're at here. What's have we got going on here today? Not a whole heck of a lot. Got a few things happening.
I'm
Numbers.
developing a theory about allergies.
What's that?
My theory is that if you push yourself through the allergies and work out in the garden just about every day during the spring, your allergies will be less.
It's
a theory.
As any other theory about allergies.
I'm testing it out this year.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens. If I start sneezing up a storm, then we know that my theory is incorrect.
Well, the big theory about allergies is when you're younger, being exposed to everything, so your body has a chance to build up antibodies to everything.
Yeah, but I mean, I didn't really have major allergies until I got to my mid-20s, and I lived over on the mainland where there pretty much are no trees.
Yes.
And then I came back to the island, and I was surrounded by trees, and my allergies were just super bad.
Well, that could be, you could have lost what immunities you had.
So that's what I'm thinking. Like, if the whole idea is to build up your immunity, I wonder if you can do that by just forcing yourself to be out in the garden, not taking the antihistamines.
Yeah. Well, I don't take antihistamines. I keep them around in case I get stung by bees.
That makes sense.
Or something that I know I'm actually allergic to. All right. I think it's music time and showtime.
These are the days of thunder. We're gonna make time stand still. A quarter after midnight, and I'm watching the wall. Sometimes I feel so uptight, I just can't sleep at all. Every day doing the same old thing, we're losing time. The weekend comes, we gotta have some fun and rewind. These are the days of thunder. We're gonna make time stand still. We gotta feel the hunger, hanging over the edge just to taste the thrill. I feel the rope tightening, choking off our air. We need to grab some lightning. Friday's almost here. Caught in a web, we need to cut this thread we're hanging by. Where is it said you have to be half dead to survive? These are the days of thunder. We're gonna make time stand still. We gotta feel the hunger, hanging over the edge just to taste the thrill. We gotta feel the hunger, hanging over the edge just to taste the thrill. These are the days of thunder. We're gonna make time stand still. We gotta feel the hunger, hanging over the edge just to taste the thrill. These are the days of thunder.
Alrighty, shall we get going?
Absolutely.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for WordPress Plugins A to Z, not Z.
It's episode 599, and we have plugins for customizing logins and creating with ChatGPT, and also a little bit of WordPress news, all coming up on WordPress Plugins from A to Z. WordPress. It's the most popular content management and website solution on the internet. And with over 80,000 plugins to choose from, how do you separate the junk from the gems? Join us for a weekly, unrehearsed conversation about the latest and greatest in WordPress plugins. This is WordPress Plugins from A to Z. Well, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you happen to be hiding out there on the globe today. Coming to you direct from the brewery overlooking beautiful southern Vancouver Island. I'm John Overall, and with me is the ever lovely
Amber overall.
And we have the usual great show for you today. You know, if you missed the pre-stream, go check it out, man. Check out what we had to say, a little bit of talking. We look for some feedback, blah, blah, blah. You know, all that wonderful stuff, and enough of that.
Thank you for sharing, John. Now get down from that soapbox.
So, welcome to episode 599, Keeping the Plugins Working Together. We've got a couple of great in-depth plugins to cover for you, some recent news in both the WordPress world and some tech world in general, and some awesome WordPress tips. Kind of amazing that you can actually get a worse sunburn on the cloudy yet warm days than on the clear sky days. I learned this weekend. So if you're working out in your garden, make sure that you cover up your arms and back, especially if you've been a basement troll for a while like I have been. And we have some reminders before we start the show today. Remember that the show starts at 12:30 p.m. Pacific time, with the pre-stream starting around 12:15 p.m. Pacific time. The pre-stream is where we twiddle the dials and knobs and really just warm up our voices, so join us for some entertainment value. Our show notes for each episode can be found at wppluginsa2z.com. The newest show notes will be up within 24 hours, and they'll be there on the front page for you. And don't forget that this is a value for value show, and you are a big part of its creation. You, our producers, are who we need to help us produce. So get on out there, hit some like buttons, share an episode or two, and let people know that you helped to produce the longest running WordPress Plugins podcast. Well, that's it for reminders. Don't forget to stick around till the end of the show for some possibly life-altering advice. And let's start this show with this week's featured artist.
Shabi. Nice, beautiful artwork. Machinery working in fine-tuned organization.
I really like this picture. It's not just machinery, man. It's gears, which make the machinery go. I love the gears. They're so pretty.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a nice photo.
I wonder if anyone out there has ever had a look at the gears inside of the Big Ben clock. Because those are just amazing. So this is an older picture, came from the Art Vaults. We would love to have some new art, so if anyone out there is feeling inspired or anything, you can send it in to us at wppluginsa2z.com/artwork. You can also check out the vaults yourself by going there as well. We can never have too much art. And breaking news in the WordPress world at large.
Please be quiet. Shut up! And now the news with Amber.
So first, we'll start with the WordPress Vulnerability Report for May 3rd, 2023. There is a rather decent list of plugins with patches and a rather long list of plugins with issues. The ones I most easily recognize are Simple Share Buttons Adder, Simple Tooltips, Redirect After Login, Layer Slider, and Simple Giveaways. That one is a big one, so make sure that you check this list yourself and that you check your or your client's sites, whichever it happens to be. There are a lot more in the list, as you can see as he scrolls through.
Oh, yeah,
So,
tons.
yeah. So make sure you check the list. And when you see them repeated like this, that just means that there's a variety of vulnerabilities.
White label branding for Elementor. Never heard of it.
There's a lot that I don't hear of. Luckily, there are no theme vulnerabilities this week, so that's a good thing.
Yeah. Those that are working their way out of working with themes.
Next up, we have priced out of API access. Jetpack and WordPress.com discontinue support for Twitter auto sharing.
Yeah, I knew
It
that
appears
was
their
coming.
talks didn't go well.
I knew that was coming. Elon's like, no, you want to do this? Fuck up, boys. Fuck up. Also, what he's doing is going to cut down on the amount of spam bots on Twitter.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I've actually noticed it when I do wander into my Twitter feed, which isn't too often anymore. There's a whole lot less spam bots in there.
I've noticed that too. So yeah, Jetpack and WordPress.com have officially announced they will no longer be supporting the Twitter API in their products. Although WordPress.com's access to the API was reinstated for a few weeks, the company has now been priced out of offering the features that rely on Twitter's API.
Yeah.
There aren't any major details, and we still didn't hear about whether or not people with Jetpack are going to be refunded. I have no idea.
Yeah, maybe not. Only the ones that were paying for it. You know, the article does explain that it was gonna cost about $125,000 a month. You know,
Yeah.
$210,000 a month, and that would have necessitated an increase for the premium version of it, because they did have some free ones available for folks. And what they found out when they first introduced the free version, that most people dropped it. So you got to remember the WordPress community is still stuck in the everything free mode, which I'm not opposed to, because I'm sort of stuck there too. But when the price gets too high, people just drop.
Yeah. So for people who use Jetpack and WordPress.com, be aware, Twitter is not offered in their products anymore.
Yep.
Next, we have Caseproof acquires Wishlist member. So the makers of MemberPress Caseproof have acquired the Wishlist products, which is the parent company of Wishlist Member and CourseCure. Why are these names always so hard to say out loud?
I have no idea.
The Wishlist team have gone along with the package, except for the co-founder, Tracy Childers, who will continue supporting and developing the products under the leadership of Caseproof founder Blair Williams. Hopefully, this does not mean any crazy changes down the road, though if you are a user of Wishlist, you might want to get ready for some of the bettering your user experience type of changes coming your way.
Yeah, most likely that's usually what happens. That and price increases.
Yeah.
And of course, the biggest reason for the price increases is these people acquiring them are often acquiring them with borrowed funds, and so they got to make the money back.
Next, we have Gutenberg 15.7 adds site logo upload to inspector controls. So if you have a look on the control sidebar, you will now see the inspector controls. The feature is still available in the block toolbar, but being in the sidebar seems a more natural addition to the inspector. I've always liked it when the creators make it so that their additions don't actually change what you're used to, just add something to make it a little more accessible, like a shortcut.
Yeah. Well,
there are a few more things that have been added, such as dual tone filters, image placeholders, and template pattern suggestions. So if you're interested in finding out more, you can check the show notes for the link and read the article in whole.
Nice.
WordPress themes team releases Stacks, a community theme for building slide decks. So this is a new block theme called Stacks, which has been released by the theme team as part of the Community Themes initiative that was proposed earlier this year. Stacks was created specifically to create slide decks that can be used for a presentation. Designed and built out by Saxon Fletcher with the help of Automatic sponsored contributor Ben Dwyer. So you can go to our show notes and check out the link to find out more. Next, we have WordPress marketing team launches from blogs to blocks. Campaign ahead of the 20th anniversary. Blogs to Blocks was released in anticipation of the project's upcoming 20th anniversary. Lots of projects are coming up as a celebration for this major milestone. A lot of activities too, like local meetups. Blogs to Blocks. My goodness, say that 5 times fast. This is a creation of intentional moments for the WordPress community to reflect on the journey that has been taken so far. The campaign will feature 20 days of WordPress-related prompts for users to engage in different actions designed to start conversations and stir memories. Could be fun, could also be irritating. We'll see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
And a little about the WordCamps. The first round of WordCamp US 2023 tickets managed to sell out within hours of going on sale. But there will be another round of ticket sales coming out. So WordCamp US is happening August 24th to 26th, 2023 at Gaylord National Resort and Convention Center in National Harbor, Maryland. Tickets are $50 and include access to 40 speaker presentations in the main event, workshops, networking meetups, lunch each day, snacks and beverages, the WordFest party, a t-shirt, and a surprise gift bag.
Nice.
When did they stop calling them swag bags? I thought that was what we called them now.
That's what they used to be called, the swag bags. Now they're gift bags, I guess.
Oh, okay.
Different, fads, comes and goes.
So heads up for contributor days, or for contributors. Contributor day tickets are separate and will be available soon. They're not available yet. If you are interested in learning about that, you can go click on this link in the show notes. We also have new WP Speakers website helps event organizers to find speakers. Director of Community Engagement at Stellar WP, Michelle Frichette, has launched a new independent project called WP Speakers. This project helps event organizers to find available speakers for WordPress meetups, WordCamps, podcasts, and other events. The site offers a database of speakers that is free to join and free to search. If it sounds like something that you might find helpful, it is free and is free to sign up and worth at least checking out. You can find the link here in our show notes.
Cool.
And the last one I have for today is actually something I'm very excited about. We are closer than ever before to creating a real lightsaber.
Awesome.
Very exciting.
That'll be fun.
The two things that are holding them back is the dueling and the fuel. They have managed to figure out basically the fuel types that they can use, but none of the fuel types they can use and have recharged themselves are solid enough to actually do a proper duel. So,
oh well. Who knows?
But they this article actually goes through and tells you what we do have on this planet that would work very similarly to what they use in that world to create this lightsabers, and talks about all the various things that we can use. Really, it's just the fuel and the dueling, and that's only 2 of the 6 things that are absolutely required in order to have a real lightsaber. So I think we're going to be getting close.
Cool.
We're almost there. I want one. And then we have all of our extras. You can check out our extras in our show notes, and there's interesting things here. There's a lot here on AI. There's stuff on chips and what's going on. And yeah, mostly it's AI. That's actually mostly what all the tech world is talking about right now. Dragon rating time.
Alrighty. Alrighty then. First plugin I've got for you today is Custom Login Page Customizer. Now, there's lots of ways to customize your login page for WordPress if you're going to use your default login page. And every once in a while, you'll need to do it depending on what you're building. I built a site out, the sort of a membership site, a directory site, but the directory plugin didn't have a really good login system or account creation. So I had to revert back to using the custom or the standard WordPress login page. I needed a way to clean it up and make it look like the rest of the website instead of, everyone knows what the default WordPress login page looks like. It's kind of bland. And if you're really into coding, you can go in there and code it up and do it all yourself. No problem. Just takes a lot longer. This one here, a whole lot easier. And it's one of the best custom login page customizers I have used in a long time. I've used quite a few of them over the years. This one makes the task really easy to do. It uses the customizer in WordPress to do it. You can start with, they give you 3 basic template layouts for it to help you get started. You start with one of those basic template layouts, and then you go in and you adjust your background color to whatever you want it to be. And you can even upload and add a graphic in the background if you want a graphic in the background instead of just a color. You can get in there and add your own logo to the site, so and any type of logo you've got. And you can also then adjust the logo's width and height to make it the size you need it to do, and add a URL to the logo so it can take them back to the front page or any place else they want to go if they landed there by accident. Very nice and useful, makes it easy. Then you can get in there and adjust the layout of the input form, from adjusting the form background, making it clear, making it transparent, colors, put an image back there, anything you want for the background. While you're at it, get in there and adjust the height and radius of the input boxes. Also, you can get in there and adjust the text that sits above the box to tell people what to enter in each input field. Adjust the colors, the font size, make it bigger, make it easier for people to see, things of that nature here. So lots of ways you can customize the input fields on here. Get in there, adjust the info button, and disable links as you need to, such as disable the reset my password link or return to homepage link, or create an account link. If you don't want those links available to people on this page, you can adjust those in there. Lots of really great things to do. This full editor on this has just been fantastic. If you really want to get in there and tweak it even further and you're writing your own CSS, they even have a spot for you to add all your own CSS to it and get it all added up. You can get in there, adjust the login button or the sign up button, change all of that up. In other words, it's a full-fledged customizer. Some of the ones I work with in the past give you limited adjustments to it, such as the box or a background, and minimal adjustments. This gives you full-fledged access to it. The full editor for the login page is very simple, easy to do. You can get your page changed and adjusted in no time flat. Best part about this plugin is that it's free. They don't have any limitations on it for what it's going to do for you. It even works in multi-site support and color schemes. So there's quite a few things on here it can do for you. On the whole, fantastic plugin. Great little one for adjusting and cleaning up that login page for WordPress. And I give it a 5 dragon rating. So go check it out. Custom login page customizer.
So is that totally free or does it have a premium?
No premium. It's totally free.
Cool.
100% totally free. And it's currently up to date.
Nice. Here we have our WordPress tips. Do we have a sound?
How's that one?
I didn't hear anything.
Oh, well, everyone else will hear it.
Okay, well, as long as everyone else heard it. All right, so this is a new segment, and we would love to have somebody let us know what they think about this. Would love to have a little feedback on it. We have a few things here. One, for making sites. You know how sometimes when you make a site and it turns out absolutely amazing, but then you go to recreate it elsewhere and there's just no ability to do so?
Yep.
One of the ways we wind up making a site to do what we want them to is through CSS. One of the things you can do in order to try and recreate that site later is to copy and paste that CSS into Notepad. Make sure you label it properly too, though, because when I first started doing this, okay, so everyone else heard the we then. When you first go to do this, you might think that you'll remember exactly what the CSS is for, and so you just put the CSS in there and that's it. Well, once it's been a while, you'll end up forgetting exactly what that's for. So make sure you label it properly so you can go, when you go to reuse it later, you know what it actually does, what it's for. So when you go to label it, you want to put in like what it is, how it works, what section it was in. If it wasn't just in the additional CSS on the main site, if it's like, say, in an Elementor section where you add CSS, make sure you put that information on there. Any settings for that section that you may have had in there, make sure you put the, make sure when you make the saving title, you'll want to put something in there like which site it was, just to help trigger your brain into remembering what that's for. Because otherwise it gets lost.
Oh, absolutely. I actually have a document in my Basecamp, which is CSS snippets and code snippets that I collected over years. Each of them
Nice.
properly labeled on a single document in Basecamp. And when I go, God, I did that once before. And I go, oh, yeah, Basecamp. Let's go do a search for a keyword in Basecamp. And boom, there it is.
Perfect.
So, yeah, you can do that for all your little sample codes and, you know, your code tidbits that you use in CSS. It's a fantastic way to do it. But yeah, you definitely have to label them, because if you just toss it into a file and it says random CSS, you have no idea what it will do. So make
No,
sure
it's
you
gone.
make sure you make notes on make your notes, your comments on your code snippets and your CSS snippets, so you know what they are.
And then we've got some beginner's tips. So one of the things that's actually really good for people who are newer to this world to know is that Notepad is your friend. Notepad removes all CSS from whatever you put into it, so it's great for passwords or coding of any kind, or just making notes in general.
Yeah.
When you make notes and try to make passwords in programs like Microsoft Word, you'll find that there are extra spaces before or after the passwords, odd spaces in the coding that you just can't get rid of, and this causes all kinds of issues, and that's because of the CSS that
Not just the
Microsoft
CSS,
Word uses.
not just the CSS, the HTML.
HTML, okay.
HTML. The CSS is part of it, but HTML is another piece of it.
I found that it messed up a lot of things because when I first started with all this, I was always using Word. That's what I used.
Yeah, always use Notepad, because it strips it all the way down to plain text.
hmm Another good one for when you're starting out is left mouse button is your friend. Use the left mouse button to drag and drop files, and you can also, if you use the left mouse button, you'll find, or sorry, right mouse button. My
Yes.
bad. So
Your other
right
left.
mouse button.
Your other left.
Yeah, the other left. Yeah, you'll also find that you'll be able to get shortcuts by right-clicking a lot. So that's a really good one to know. Fiddle around with it. Learn a bit about it. Another one is, seems like a lot of people don't know this, even if they've been in this world for a bit. It's the Alt and Tab. You hit Alt, and then you tap, like you hold down Alt and you tap the Tab button, and it'll flip you between your windows.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people often wind up with like between 5 and 10 windows open when they're working on things. I often end up with more. So when you are working through things and you want to get through, like say you're working on a site here and then over another window, you have your notepad where you're trying to get write down notes, you can just hit Alt and tap Tab and flip between them really fast. Every time that you get to, every time you open a window, that window becomes the first one in your little list that will show up. And if you want two open at first, two right beside each other, you just open them both up. You can flip between them really fast. It makes life a lot easier. So that's a good one for people to know. Now for my plugin. Today I covered AI content writer ChatGPT.
Yay, ChatGPT.
This is a new plugin that was recently released, and I was drawn to it to see what it could do for me. Now, in order to use this, you do have to have an account with ChatGPT. Once you've installed and activated this plugin, you will see on your left-hand menu, AI Content Writer -ChatGPT. You click on that and it brings you to the settings page for the plugin. Here, you will need to add in your API key, which you can get by logging into your ChatGPT account and creating an API key. These guys make it pretty easy by giving you the direct link. So right there in the dashboard. So you click on the link, it takes you to ChatGPT, you sign in, and you're already on the page where you need to create the API. Once that's set up, you want to look at the rest of the settings options. I'm going to go through them one by one because some have kind of odd names and they each do something different. So the first one is max tokens. This is to set the maximum number of tokens to generate for output. One token is considered text, words, or symbols. So if the max token is 1,000, this will put out 1,000 tokens. So say that you're writing an article and it needs to be 3 paragraphs. You put 1,000 and see if and it'll generate the 3 paragraphs with 1,000 words. That's my understanding of it when I was playing around with it. Next is temperature. This feature is to produce randomness or creativity in the generated text. If it's set to 0, then the OpenAI model generates similar text, though as you increase the temperature, the creativity and randomness of the text increases as well. I thought it was a bit of an odd name for this, but then when I really thought about it, I couldn't really think of anything else to call it except for like random meter or something, but I guess temperature works. Higher the number, the more random and creative it gets. Then we have top prediction or top P. This is to control the probability of the generated text being more similar to what is already there. If you have a piece of your own work there, you can have the plugin work to make the continuing work as similar as possible to your own work. The parameter controls the randomness and creativity of the generated text. So if it's set to 0.1, your text will be generated within a 10% similarity to what is already there. And it goes from 0 up to 1 with all the points in between. Then we have frequency penalty. This is applied if the suggested text output is repeated and chooses an old output over a new one. For example, the model uses the exact same token as in a previous completion or during the same session. This one scales from 0 to 2 with all the points in between. And I'm under the impression that the higher you set it, the less often you will get repeats. That's how it seemed to be working when I was playing with it, but I don't think I played with it long enough to really have it start repeating things. I think that actual repeating of things would probably take like a month or more of working with it. It seems to have mostly very unique writings.
Cool.
Then we have presence penalty. This penalizes new tokens based on whether they have appeared in the text so far. In general, the default value for presence penalty is 0, and it is used when you want to generate text that is coherent with the input prompt by using words that are present in the input. So, for instance, if you were writing an article about cats and you wanted to talk about the different ways that they jump, you would probably end up needing to put the penalty, like you would probably want to keep it down at 0, I think. I had a hard time understanding entirely this one. I couldn't make the AI do anything very different when I put it up or down, so. Again, I think that would probably be something that would come into play when you use it for a long period of time, more so. And then we have language. There are a lot of languages. I think there's like over 70 languages that you can choose from, so it's pretty user-friendly that way. I did notice that when I was playing around with this, that it does better with 1 to 3 paragraphs at a time rather than having it recreate a whole long thing. So that was I tried putting in our show notes and then having it repeat stuff, and it just kind of didn't work very well. But if I gave it like 1 paragraph, it was great. It created a whole bunch of content that was very similar, and then I also put the number way up for the creation, and it created a whole bunch of really hilarious content. So it works really well for shorter examples of things to work off of. And it is a totally free plugin at this time. Seems to play well with others. I put it into one of my sandboxes that sometimes has issues with any new plugin. So this one is actually seems to play really nice with others. I like it. It's pretty easy to use. There's just one major drawback. It only works with Gutenberg.
Yes.
Yeah. So you can't use it with anything else, only with Gutenberg, but they do make it really easy with Gutenberg. There's like a big green button that shows up on your toolbar at the top. You click on that and it creates content for you. It does work well. I do wish that it worked with Classic Editor as well as Gutenberg, though. Classic Editor or Elementor or something, I really wish it worked for other things too.
Yep. Anyway,
I rate this at 4 dragons.
very nice. Similar to the one that I've already tested out. Like I tested out, I've got WordMagic installed on another site, and I've been using it to help fill out content. This one here is a little more different than the one I've got. The one I've got right now, all I had to do was enter my API key. When I go to create stuff, yeah, it wouldn't work in anything but Gutenberg. I found that slightly irritating, but I basically told it what writing style to create, and told it how many paragraphs to create, and boom, it just goes and creates text for whatever question I put in there, or title I put in there. So it would write paragraphs of text.
Actually, that's one of the things about this is it does offer up to 5 title suggestions.
Yeah.
So I thought that was kind of cool.
So pretty useful. You got to be careful with the ChatGPT AI though, because I hear it's returning a lot of not so true data.
Oh.
You gotta double check the data in it. It's just sometimes it's randomly tossing in stuff, making stuff up as it goes along, kind of like a human.
Oh, well, that's good to know.
Mm-hmm. So, somebody I was listening to, they'd ask it questions and it'd say, "Okay, well, give me a source on this." It'd kick out a URL, and the URL would be dead. And then it asked ChatGPT, "Well, that's good, no problem there. It's right there. Go get it." Nope, not so much.
Okay.
So, gotta be careful. It's like don't fully trust it. It's great to get ideas and information on, but don't use it as your content, folks. Make sure you take it as it is right now, and that it's a great way to leapfrog the idea process.
Yeah, it's definitely helpful. It's kind of like a soundboard, really. You give it an idea, it spits out more ideas, and it helps to get that brain juice flowing.
Yeah, to leapfrog the idea process, which sometimes you can sit in front of your computer and you're banging at it, and you're like, yeah, and then you want to go play a video game because you can't get going.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Alrighty.
Perfect for those times.
Check it out. There's a lot of ChatGPT plugins out there, and who knows? Maybe some more of them will show up here as time goes on.
On to our producer know-how and donations segment.
Alrighty then. For some reason, that one keeps getting lost. There it is.
It's time to donate to WP Plugins A-Z.
All right, so join in and be part of your own production and support the show at the same time. You can do this by reaching out to John and getting yourself interviewed. Send in your plugin reviews or suggestions for a plugin review. Send in your own plugin license and add it to the contest. This is a great way to get your name and your work out there. Send in questions or comments. And you can just support us by subscribing to our newsletter, donating, or reviewing us. You can check us out on Facebook or YouTube channel. And you can also earn yourself a producership credit. We have 3 levels of producers that help to keep the show's larder stocked to the bursting. We have freelance producers, backroom producers, and war room producers. There are special perks for the backroom and war room producers that you can learn about on our site at WPPlugins.com. Click on Time, Treasure, or Talent donations in our main menu to learn all the nitty-gritty details about how you can add your 2 cents. And we do have a note sent in to us today. One of our listeners sent in their 2 cents, and this is what they have to say. Hi, Amber and John. What a helpful show. I have been hearing a lot about ChatGPT and all the ways it is useful. This has left me considering using it. My concern is it regurgitating questionable, accurate, or copyright data. Is there somewhere I can check the resources it has used? Thanks, Jack.
I have no idea if there's a place you can check the resources it's used, because it's pulling information from all the sources it's been fed. And as far as copyright data, well, ideas can't be copyrighted. The exact form of the ideas presented is copyrightable, such as the exact form of letters put down for text, that's copyrightable, but the idea itself isn't. So you get the information, the ideas, and you take it a little further, rewrite it and reword it, and you're no longer in copyright violation.
Well, I do know that if you ask ChatGPT itself, it can give you a rather large list of its resources. I've done that before.
Yeah, well, you can check them out and see if they're actually valid.
True. I actually wanted to see if ChatGPT could help me figure out a bug in a code. So I asked it what its resources are regarding this. Where did it learn about this? And it gave me this huge list of WordPress resources that had been fed.
Mm-hmm.
So you can ask them, but I don't know exactly if I don't think it'll list everything.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
but it may regurgitate questionable accurate information, kind of like the internet did back in the beginning days. Like I was there at the beginning. I was in college when the internet started to become popular, and I started using internet as reference points, and none of my teachers would take my papers.
Yeah, I had that problem too.
Because I had to go back to the library, and I had to take the same information I got from the internet, go to the library, find it, and then resource it as I got it from the library. Although it was the exact same stuff, it's like they were really irritating in the beginning. And now they'll take what's that bloody thing? The Book of Knowledge?
Wikipedia?
They'll take Wikipedia as a source now.
Yeah.
It's like, seriously? Something that can be changed by anybody at any point in time, you take that as a source? Come on.
Yeah, I actually I've seen it where the older kid ended up doing a project, cited resources from books, and she had to go look up information online to also bring that information forward. It's like, dude, books.
Yeah, well, it's entertaining strange things that happen in the world as things evolve.
Yeah. So we do have some miscellaneous announcements from us and our producers. If anyone out there has an announcement like a meetup or that you'll be on stage at WordCamp that you want to let us know, tell us and we'll add it up here and get your news out into the world. If you're interested in finding WordPress meetups somewhere around the world, you can go check out places at meetup.com/pro/WordPress. These links are all in our notes. The next Victoria, BC meetup is on June 1st. This is an online meeting, so be sure to check it out to see if this is your kind of thing. And there are 4 WordCamps happening around the world this month. You can check them out at central.wordcamp.org. Keep checking back every week. We're trying to find more information to tell you what's happening around regarding the WordPress. And if you want to reach out to us, we have a real brick and mortar address where you can send in art and or notes. You can find the address here in our show notes, and we also have our virtual addresses down here too, just to make it easy for you. And today's plugins we covered were...
I covered up the custom login page customizer by Hardeep Asrani. And great plugin, helps you customize your login page. Work off of templates or a blank canvas, and you're able to add your logo and adjust the size of the URL and more.
And I covered AI Content Writer ChatGPT by Wisdom Logics. This is a content generator, can be an auto content generator too. I forgot to mention that. You can actually set it to auto. There are 70 plus languages available, and there's at least 5 titles suggested for each topic, which can be very helpful. Question and answer time.
It's question and answer time with John and Amber.
If anyone out there has any questions they'd like to have asked here in this section here on the show, you can send them in to me at amber@wppro.ca. We'll see if we can stump my dad. First question. Sometimes people have kind of funky emails, and auto systems don't recognize the emails as real. For example, I have an email at Gmail as a throwaway to sign up for random things that spells out PsychoKitty with numbers and letters. It has the @gmail.com at the end, though I found that it's not always recognized by some newsletters. Why is that?
Because of the random numbers and letters together. Even though they spell something out, digitally it looks like random numbers and letters.
Yeah, but I thought that it was looking for the @gmail.com, like the proper
because
email.
at gmail.com is one of the biggest places that spammers and hackers grab a throwaway email address from, because anybody can get them there. It doesn't take you very long to create one. It's kind of like the old Hotmail address.
Okay.
If it's not a clear name or something that looks legitimate, if it's numbers and letters that spell out PsychoKitty, then it's not going to look very pretty in the digital analysis of it. It's looking at it as a random letters and numbers.
Okay, so is there settings that you can do in order to block these kind of things from sites, or or is it just like a newsletter program that does this?
There's settings, there's filters, there's all kinds of things to do with email. I can't even begin to explain what can be done to filter out emails.
All right.
There's a lot out there.
All right.
All I can say on that one, because that's basically what I know.
Next question. What is happening when sometimes an email just doesn't show up? A person sends the email, but the recipient just never receives it.
It got lost on its way. I have no idea. It happens. It doesn't happen nearly as often as it used to. But sometimes it just happens. The internet just it started sending an email and it just went, you know what? I really don't want to do this one. We're just going to turf this one into the black hole. I have no idea. This is one of those things that just, it happens with email. It could have been that at the moment it sent, there was something glitching about the SMTP program that was sending it. There could have been a problem with the headline and title. I've had emails disappear, and one of the things I found happens when you hit reply, and then it asks if you want to add all the crap from below. Well, most of the time you do, but sometimes there's something in there that won't allow it to be sent. It just immediately gets turfed the moment you try to send it. I had one like that, and I couldn't figure out why I couldn't send it, and then I decided to just not collect everything and just respond back with a new email, and that went through. So it's really hard to know what it is on the emails, what is and isn't going to get through when something's not going through. It's hard to figure out what it is. It could be something as simple as the subject line. It could be the email it's going to. It could be something in the text. You could have an image in the text that is not formatted correctly. You could have a piece of HTML hiding in the background that is not looking valid. It could be anything. It's really hard to know exactly what it is. And if it doesn't show up, if the person notifies you of it, you can then try to send them a new email, and if need be, send it a little differently. Change the subject line. Make sure it's a fresh email versus a reply. So I don't know. It's one of those things. I'm not really stumped on it. You didn't get a stumper, but you did get close.
Not quite, but almost. I'll take it.
Yeah.
All right, I've got a couple more questions to ask after the closing credits.
All right, we'll be right back after this. And for those of you just listening to the podcast, head on over to YouTube to hear what else is being asked.
Reminders for the show. All show notes can be found at wppluginsa-z.com. And while you're there, subscribe to the newsletter for more useful information delivered directly to your inbox. WP Plugins A-Z is a show that offers honest and unbiased reviews of plugins created by developers because you support the show. Help keep the show honest and unbiased by going to wppluginsaz.com/donate and set the donation level that fits your budget. Help us make the show better for you by subscribing and reviewing the show at Stitcher Radio, Google Play, and in the iTunes Store. You can also leave us a review on our Facebook page. using wppluginsa-z.com/Facebook. You can also watch the show live on YouTube, check out the screencasts and training videos, and remember to subscribe and hit the bell to get notifications of all new videos. Follow the show on Twitter at WP Plugins A-Z. John can also be reached at his website, johnoverall.com, or email him directly, john@wppro.ca. Thanks for joining us and have a great day.
Thanks for listening to the show. This show is copyright by johnoverall.com. So until next time, have yourselves a good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you happen to be out there on the globe today.
Alrighty then. And that voice is turning 16 years old today. Or not today, but at the end of this month.
That is exciting.
Same day that
Awesome.
WordPress turns 20. He turned 16.
Exciting and terrifying both at once.
Which is actually kind of interesting because that means I've been doing this show for 16 years. Because I recorded this like a month or so before I started this show. I recorded that voice. Actually, I didn't. I recorded it accidentally because I just got all my new equipment. I'd set it all up. I'm sitting there tweaking it all, and this little toddler comes. Oh, he was 14 years. Sorry, 14 years because he was 2. He comes wandering over, grabs the microphone, pulls it down, and does that into it just as I'd hit record.
Just perfect timing.
It was perfect timing, and I heard that. It's like whoa. And as I pull it, that's awesome. That's going at the end of my show. We'll memorialize his 2-3-year-old voice.
Good way to go.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's hear the rest of what you've got here.
Okay, so my next question is, I have noticed that emails have been going missing into the netherworld of the internet. And I've been noticing it happening more over the last 12 months. I don't know if that's because I'm in email so much more over the past few years, or if I'm just noticing it more. I'm not really sure. But my question is, could there be a reason for this, or do you think it's just because I'm noticing?
Well, you
Paying more attention.
You might be noticing paying more attention. The big question I've got is, are they reply emails or brand new emails?
New emails to me, actually.
Oh, new emails to you from other places?
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's a problem with the receiving server.
Okay.
Are they the ones coming to your WP Pro account?
Yep.
Okay. Well, that's one there that maybe we got the spam filter tuned too high for your account.
Maybe.
Because you can tune your spam filter to tune stuff out. And the problem is sometimes if you tweak it just one step too much, you start filtering out useful stuff. And that's the problem of having a spam filter.
Mm-hmm.
Is, where do you tune it to avoid the majority of the spam and yet not? So, well, if their email is coming to you, not ones that you're sending, because the email coming to you is delivered to our server. It's not delivered to anywhere else. And the server may be looking at it and going, nope, that's spam. We'll just boot that because my server doesn't keep or forward spam that it thinks is real spam. It just turfs it into a black hole. It doesn't even respond back to where it came from. Just gone.
So that would be the first thing to look at then. If you're not reving emails, you want to look at the spam filter?
Yeah, look at your spam filter on your incoming account.
Okay.
However you're bringing in your stuff. And the spam filters, usually most companies, like even Google has some adjustments for spam that you can tweak. Not very much because Google's more brutal than anybody else at turfing stuff off into the Ethernet. But that's just the way the internet has become. I remember the good old days when every email was cool. You get an email and it was exciting. Now it's like, oh God, I got to go through my email box.
Yeah, it's kind of what happened to original mail, man. Mm-hmm. Original mail was really exciting, and then it was all bills.
Yeah. The original mail is slowly getting exciting again because everyone gets their bills via email.
That's true. Well, so what do you do if you check your spam filter and your spam filter is not the issue? What will be the next thing you look at?
Is it coming from a consistent source? Is it the same source that's sending
Okay.
these emails that are dropping? Because it could be their SMTP system turfing it before it leaves.
Okay. That's good to know.
If it's multiple sources that it's coming from, I really don't know.
Okay. Well, my last question here is there a way to retrieve emails lost in another world of the internet, or is that email just gone?
It's gone forever.
Okay, so when they vanish like that, they vanish into the black hole.
They vanish into the black hole of the internet if they vanish.
Okay.
I mean, it used to be, the systems used to be once upon a time is if they couldn't deliver them initially, they would bounce around the internet for up to 3-4 days. They'd bounce around until they could finally deliver them. I used to find that entertaining if I moved a domain to a new server and it had to find a new IP address and everything for the email. And all of a sudden, for a few hours, the website would be down. In other words, try to deliver emails, they wouldn't arrive. The site would come back up. And once the DNS resolved, all of a sudden the emails would just start arriving in droves. Don't see that as much anymore.
So I guess when they don't get their mark, they just vanish.
Yep.
Rather than bouncing around?
Well, they just vanish. If they don't get their mark, it's because one of the servers, either the sending server or the receiving server, went, yeah, I don't want this, turf it into the black hole. And it just goes into the black hole. And I have no idea where that data goes because I don't imagine it ever gets deleted. It's like, what really happens to that stuff in the black hole?
Maybe it's a virtual giant purple people eater.
Yeah, well, think about it. We're black holing the data. Where'd it go? Did my server accept it and then delete it? What would my server do with it? It's not fully explained or comprehended. So it is an interesting thought. Is there a giant black hole out there on the internet, sort of like a big black hole in the universe that just keeps sucking in things and it's never ending? It's a never ending hole that never fills up.
Yeah, that is an entertaining thought.
Yeah.
All right, well, that is all of my questions. No stumping of the U today.
All right, well, we've got it all done. We will call it a day then and carry on. Thanks, everyone, for showing up. We greatly appreciate it. We'll have a little music to carry us on out. Take care now.
These are the days of thunder. We're gonna make time stand still. A quarter after midnight, and I'm watching the wall. Sometimes I feel so uptight, I just can't sleep at all. Every day doing the same old thing, we're losing time. The weekend comes, we gotta have some fun and rewind. These are the days of thunder. We're gonna make time stand still. We gotta feel the hunger, hanging over the edge just to taste the thrill. I feel the rope tightening, choking off our air. We need to grab some lightning. Friday's almost here. Caught in a web, we need to cut this thread we're hanging by. Where is it said you have to be half dead to survive? These are the days of thunder. We're gonna make time stand still. We gotta feel the hunger, hanging over the edge just to taste the thrill. These are the days of thunder. We're gonna make time stand still. We gotta feel the hunger, hanging over the edge just to taste the thrill. These are the days of thunder. We're gonna make thrill. These are the days of thunder.
Alrighty, folks, that's all we got for you now. Take care. Bye-bye.
Take care.
Oh my god, that is amazing!